So looking at the inspiration for this particular story, they gave us four items. One is the color that you can see up there at the top, the cobalt blue. So we're looking at that. Champion's actually a type of paint, so that's where they brought the chip from, I guess, so that we could find the color and look at it. And then we got these three images here. One kind of looks sort of like an ancient temple, one is a feather, and one is a man sitting in some kind of harsh light. Looks like maybe some incense or some other smoke going up. So I'm sort of creating sort of kind of a sci-fi story as I'm sort of dealing with some cognitive issues myself, having to get some medical tests and such for some ongoing things I have. I've been thinking a lot about memory and the loss of memory and that kind of stuff. So that's going to bleed into this particular story here. Need to keep it under 1,000 words. My goal is to keep it as concise as possible. So even though I have a 1,000 word limit, I would love to keep it 500 or under, which isn't very much space, and I tend to ramble a little bit from time to time. So when I have a 1,000 word limit, I tend to climb on up to that 1,000 words. So we're going to see if I have the ability to restrain myself a little here today. So let's see as we go here. As the remaining colonists. All right, I didn't spell any of that correctly. All right, as the remaining colonists murdered each other below, the monk watched the starship rise on a plume of fire and smoke. Over the ruins of the temple. Alright, so we got that. Let's say, don't want this to be a new paragraph or same paragraph. Mad screams echoed off the stones as he admired the blue hull of the escaping ship. All right. Let's fix a spelling mistake there. All right, so we established the scene, we've established what type of story it is, all of that, and we've used 52 words. So we're going to see if we can barrel through the story itself and keep it concise for this flash fiction contest. All right, so let's roll ahead here. That ship carried the healthy survivors. Those infected and losing their minds remained below to be claimed by the planet. Okay, let me add something here. He knew, say he once knew the exact color, the exact name for that shade of blue, but he didn't remember anymore. He decided not to stress over it, as he could not remember his name either. All right. Now we're up to 100 words. Okay. The ship carried the healthy survivors. Those infected and losing their minds remained below to be claimed by the planet. He had a final conversation with someone on that ship. Someone he cared about. A friend, a family member. That detail escaped him, along with whatever goodbyes and good wishes were said. He wanted to say it was a parasite, something from the planet they discovered too late. That sounded true, but he wasn't sure of anything anymore. He decided to let that piece of his memory go without a struggle. The monk sat with the clouds of smoke from the last of the incense. Alright, let's see if I spelled that close enough for the computer. Yep. The monk sat with clouds of smoke from the last of the incense swirling around him in the growing darkness of the end of the day and the end of the colony. He breathed deeply, an act of muscle memory. He expected to cough, but it filled his lungs and calmed his nerves, even with the cries of violence all around him. Okay. He was here to comfort. He didn't remember much else about himself or his past. He didn't remember much else about himself or his past. He took comfort thinking that some people on board that diminishing ship upon its column of smoke and vapor would remember him for a while. Alright, let me reread that paragraph. I'm trying to be concise here. He was here to comfort. He didn't remember much else about himself or his past. He took comfort thinking, ing there, sorry, that some people on board that diminishing ship upon its column of smoke and vapor would remember him for a while. Let's say after he was gone. He stood he stood, the woven mat under him, I'll say the woven mat felt good under his bare feet. He wondered if going barefoot was something he did often. If he had to guess, he supposed he was that person. So he walked through the temple without searching for sandals or other footwear. Okay. Yeah, this one's going to be short, I think. I think I can keep it brief here. Considering memory while losing your memory. Let's say his memory. Considering memory while losing his memory was a very introspective act. He decided all of life was a game of forgetting and dying. It was a game played with time, and time did not cheat. It always won fair and square. Still, he imagined that the game could still be enjoyed, even if every player and every match was lost to time in the end. He wondered if the madness... Okay, let me fix the word here. He wondered if the madness that came with the shared illness of all those left behind would take him soon. He guessed that all the incense... Oof, come on now. He guessed that all the incense and all the happy thoughts in the universe might not save him from that. He still might provide comfort for those suffering with him as night drew closer. He passed through the final courtyard and looked to the sky. He stared for a long moment before he realized that before he realized that he couldn't remember what he was looking for. The sky was still blue, but darkening. It formed, I'll say it was a blanket of fine, rich color. Okay, hold on just a moment. I have a light back here. It's bugging me. Sorry about that. All right. Where's my... Okay, we are. The sky was still blue, but darkening. It was a blanket of a fine, rich color. A very odd spread of cloud. Looked almost like it was rising from the ground itself. He couldn't recall if that sort of thing were normal. That cloud took on accents of red and orange from the angling light. It accented that deep blue nicely. He was glad he took the moment to look upon the sky again. All right, he stepped out through the last set of doors. Violence continued in the distance. People were angry and wild. He wasn't sure what he could do about that, but felt he should try something. The scattered feathers from some bird that had been attacked or eaten on the temple's doorstep. Let me see if this makes sense. The scattered feathers from some bird that had been attacked or eaten on the temple's doorstep covered the ground in front of him. I'll say, letting out a sigh. Do I want to become famous? Well, tell you what, bot, not today. So let's go ahead and ban this bot and then refresh this. All right, everybody say goodbye to the bot. One down and a billion more to go. All right, letting out a sigh. Maybe because he keeps getting bothered by bots. Letting out a sigh, he knelt and lifted one of the feathers. He examined it closely. Okay, let me spell that right. He examined it closely. as if seeing it for the first time. He ran his finger back and forth, feeling, let's put a comma there, say feeling the soft barbs, ruffling them up and smoothing them out again. Lovely it was. Almost magical. The barbs separated in a fascinating way. They came back together for a lovely, smooth pattern of silvery color. He could not remember the word for this thing, nor what animal it came from. He was sure he had known it a moment ago, but now those details escaped him. Still, the lack of memory did not dampen his feelings of joy in discovering this object and its secrets as if for the first time. He was glad he had picked this thing up. Taking a moment to survey the landscape in the last light of day. Others were hurt and lying on the ground. He could not tell if they were sleeping or dead. He recognized none of them. Those who walked around, those who still walked around, did so aimlessly. They mostly stared at the ground, but appeared to have no desire to do harm if they had such desires before. As others kept their eyes cast down, he turned his to the sky. That was such a moving shade of color, say, across the heavens. He knew he should know the word for that color, but it escaped him. He decided not to let that upset him. He let go of that piece of his memory and simply enjoyed the fading color of the sky as if for the first time.